In my opinion, there's one of the things that is most frustrating about growing a business is spending a lot of time and energy in training a team member only to lose them a couple years into them being an employee. And sometimes this is completely not avoidable. You've got people that want to move, they want to change, they're looking for that change in scenery, and that's something that you may not be able to stop. But what I see happen more frequently is that people are managed out of the agency without recognizing that the agency is even doing it, and you're not recognizing that you're doing it, and so you're losing your talent, and that is so incredibly important and difficult to being able to maintain good client relationships and maintain good work while losing your talent. Ultimately, what your agency is selling is the expertise of your team and selling the time of your team. And so incredibly important that we have the team stay in place as much as possible, for at least the ones that we want to keep in place. In the modern world, it is so incredibly important to recognize that the old management style of the boomers has changed, especially as millennials and Gen Zers become more and more involved in the day-to-day workforce. And at this point, millennials and Gen Z combined are the predominant, the majority of people in the workforce. So I want you to think about the cornerstone of how you actually maintain good relationships and maintain a good team. So the number one reason that people believe that someone comes to work is for money. It's not correct. Number one reason that someone comes to work is to be part of a team. So you need to make sure that your agency is developing a team. It's so incredibly important that your agency is actually fostering that team. And then you need to make sure the next reason that someone comes to work is for the acknowledgement of doing a good job. You just need to be telling your team members and just telling them and recognizing when they excelled at what they did. The third reason is money. And while I think that is an important component, more often than not, I see that it is because the money component is only important to the team member because they want the acknowledgement of having done a good job. And they want the recognition that what they did was appreciated and that they've grown. Everyone wants to grow in their lives. Everyone wants to improve in their compensation and in their career. There is a lot of aspect to it that I do firmly believe that compensating people fairly is extremely important, but you shouldn't be overcompensating, at least not vastly overcompensating team members to keep them. The other piece that is missed so incredibly often, and if you haven't read the book called Thrive by Design, please go take a look at it. It goes through a lot of the different dynamics of management styles through generations and how that has impacted work culture and how much that has changed in the modern world. The piece that is extremely important is connection with your team. If you do not have a connection with your team members and they don't have connection to your agency, they're not going to stick around. And the piece that you're able to do that is take an interest in your team, make sure that you're asking them questions, that they're involved, that they know that they're cared about. And the more that they feel cared about, the more that they're going to want to stay. And then ultimately, what is just a huge piece that is missing so much is making sure that your team feels safe. Feeling safe means a lot of things in the workforce. It means that when something goes wrong or doesn't go so well, that there's not going to be this massive amount of retribution, that they can try new things without having huge amounts of issues, and that that the agency or that their management isn't going to go off the walls when something goes wrong. So making sure that they feel safe to come to you with questions, feel safe to come to you with problems, feel safe to come to you to be able to actually help them and truly be able to manage them. It's so important that you have a fun, safe, connected, acknowledging workplace that allows for your team to want to stay. If you don't and you are losing team members and you have a high team member churn, you need to look at what's going on within your culture your management style and figure out what's going on so that you can have better retainage in your team. If you have any questions on things that you can do and some challenges that you're facing, feel free to reach out and comment below. Let me know. Hopefully this was helpful.